What's going on, guys? It is Monday, 8 o'clock. Normally, I know, usually we're on 7:30 on a Wednesday, and also we're usually on time. No, we're not. I've yet to hit that 7. Well, actually, we did last week, but that was David going to the restroom and all this other stuff. But he is not able to make it tonight. He's stuck over there at our wonderful work, so that's all right. We've got a special guest on tonight, guys. I'm really excited about this one because I got to meet him in person at his place, not his home, but his place of employment, his place that he owns, which is, we'll get into that as we go in more. But yeah, guys, I'm glad to be on. I am actually coming to you guys on a new camera. So that's why it looks like it's up in my face, up in my grill. I'm trying to stay back so you get more of me instead of like right here where it's like, see that? Ooh, you don't want to see that. But it is a great new camera that I'm checking out. So I might as well get into this because I'm already talking about this. So where is it at? It is. We're going to start with our first one, which is Ulanzi, which is not where this camera's from, but where these lights are from. The lights you see here, lights you see behind me, lights that are normally on the side but went dead. I didn't charge them. Sorry, Ulanzi. But there are some great lights, it's a great company. They got they got tripods, lights, they got cages for your camera. I have one of those cages that are on my camera, my DSLR that I have somewhere in this mess, but I do have it. So Ulanzi is a great company. We are an affiliate with them. Go onto our bio, get onto the link tree, click on their link, because then that'll take you straight to the affiliate code, which will then help us out by buying from them. If that looks better, yeah, let's go a little higher. So get more of my head. I'm cutting off way too much of my head. But anyways, check their stuff out, guys. It is at ulanzi.com. They've got a lot of great things and always have great sales going on. So moving on to the next one, which is Renegade Game Studios. These guys are pretty awesome. They have some great games that they have. A lot of great IG or IPs. It'd be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, G.I. Joe. I wanted to start with My Little Pony, but I wasn't. But My Little Pony and so many others. They've got deck building games. They've got RPGs. Check them out. Again, they're another affiliate of ours. So when you click on their link that's in our link tree, it goes straight to their website, but it also gives us that little cash if you buy stuff from them. So please buy from them. They've got a lot of great games. Next, we have our newest one, which I'm really excited about. These guys are actually partners. They were like, yeah, we'll be partners. Randy said, we'll be partners. So I'm really excited about these guys. Legendary Supplements. They've got a great new supplement that it is not a energy drink. It is a focus drink. It is something that gets you that pinpoint energy, or not energy, sorry, I said energy, but pinpoint focus when you're gaming, or even when you're doing something like this, which I should have had mine because I've got mine. I did order some. I got it in the mail quick. So again, they're also quick with their orders. So check them out, guys. Look at that. Focus. Majorly focus. Some people said I don't need that, but I do. Sometimes I really do. When I'm doing a lot of this stuff, I need some sort of focus, and they're the ones that'll give it to you. So check them out. Yes. Lastly, we got where this camera came from, Movo. MovoPhoto is .com is another new affiliate of ours. They're just an affiliate, but I got a lot of great microphones here. The microphone that you hear right now, which is above me, is the UM300. Then I've also got their little webcasting like microphone over here. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. This is a microphone. It looks like a softball, but it is a microphone. It's an eyeball. The eyeball that's in front of me is a camera and a microphone and a ring light. I'm not using the microphone today just because I wanted to tweak it a little bit more so it sounds a lot better. But they've got a lot of great stuff in their website right there. They got the vlogging, and that microphone that's on there right now, I also bought. I picked it up. It's right here. I didn't get a chance to plug it in because I have to plug in my podcasting deck. But great company. Right now, guys, you go onto their website, and they've got an amazing sale. Like, amazing. When it comes to microphones, that's why I picked up so many. And also, I picked up the camera, but they've got like vlogging tools and all this stuff, but their lavs and their mics are on sale. So check them out. Again, their link is inside of our link tree. So check them out. They're a great company. And that's it for these guys. So also, man, you guys are seeing a lot of me right now. We don't want to see that much of me, do we? Not really. Let's shrink that. There we go. Look at that. I got a new background. You like that? I do. Oops. So, you guys, another thing I want to shout out for is Project Wish Upon a Star, guys. They're a great charity that's out there. They help out pediatric cancer patients to be able to experience the con experience, whether it's bringing them to a con, getting them all dressed up like we had last year. I built the costume. It was a Batgirl costume. It was really cool. But or taking the con experience to the kids. They're a great charity. Darren and Veronica are amazing. I love them. Darren he's got a huge heart. Huge heart. So help them out. Go on to our link tree. Again, there's another site. I think it's like number 2. Either number 1 or number 2 link on there. Click on it. Donate today. They're going to be coming to LA Comic-Con this year in their big booth. We're going to be joining them in that big booth and having a lot of fun. So there we go with them. Also, for some local comic book stores, you guys want to check out, and I don't have my bag today. You know, doing this on a different day really is weird. It throws me off a little bit, but that's okay. So 2 comic book stores that I love to go to and love the guys or all the people there. One would be We Can Be Heroes, which is out in Chatsworth. It's a great comic book store. It's huge. Julio and all the guys there, it's great. Donald is always doing live streams to sell comics, and I always get some great deals. You guys can get great deals there. They're not out there to steal your money. They're out there to get comic books in your hands. So check them out. Also, another one is Golden Apple. Golden Apple, which is on Melrose down in Hollywood. Guys, go down there, check them out. Say what's up to everybody in the shop because they're going to actually be on the show this Wednesday. So we're actually doing 2 shows this week. So Golden Apple is another great place that I get my comic books. And also I want to shout out to Infinite Abilities, which is a Desiree, I'm shouting you guys out again because you guys are doing an awesome job with your site. They're starting off on the site. They're selling comic books. They're employing special needs people, which is awesome. And she was a special ed teacher at one time and now turned comic book store owner. So check out their website at infiniteabilities.com for all the comic books and everything that you need. Go there, check them out. They're great people too. Met them at Chatsworth. Looking forward to having them on this week. No, I'm sorry, not this week. In 2 weeks, we're going to have them on our show. So many things that I always remember to try to shout out there. But there we go, guys. That's everything, I swear. Yes, it is. So there we go. Oh, sorry. One more. Savage Crucibles, guys. Oh, my Lizard Man file. Savage Crucibles, they made this Lizard Man right here. This is another thing that we wanted to shout out because they're awesome company. This thing has so many moving parts. Like look at the pose that he's in. How many figures can you get into this pose? Not too many. I mean, down to where his toes move. Savage Crucible is putting out these amazing figures. Check them out. This is the first line, part of the first line. This is one of the Lizard Men. This is the Royal Guard, and I lost a sword somewhere. I'm going to have to find that. But he sits right there. And check out their stuff online. It's amazing. Yeah, Darren, those 2 I kind of pulled back on because, well, long story. But anyways, now I talk about that. Moving on. We're actually going to get through. I actually made it through pretty good. Good timing on this one with all those shout outs. But we're going to move on, guys. And it's, like I said, it was a hectic day. But let's see if I can pull this one off. So without further ado, we're going to bring in our guest. Hopefully I can pull this off before it flips. But here we go, Mr. Robinson, who's coming on this week.
Who could that be? Let's see. This is how you answer a door in
Geek Saga.
Who is it? Come on!
Well, I somewhat pulled it off, but now we're missing our guest. JC, Yeah, I was just talking to this guy, and he was like, he's got a sophisticated setup, and I'm here with like, there we go, JC, what's going on?
So, how's it going?
Oh my gosh, man, it is going. It is definitely going. But welcome to the show.
I was listening. When you have, who do you have coming on from Golden Apple on Wednesday?
I actually have Ryan and his wife.
Ryan, tell him I say hi. I saw him a couple weeks ago.
I will definitely tell him that for sure. And those two are amazing. I love his wife. She is so energetic and it just seems so happy.
It's what's wild is how small the geek world actually gets. Where it's like, oh yeah, we were talking before the show. It's like, oh yeah, we all know each other. Everybody's like 1 degree of separation from everybody else.
Yeah, seriously. Like I met Ming over out in Boise at Gem State Con, and I was talking to him about this and this and that, and the show, and then all of a sudden here I am meeting you, who's still within that verse of like Kevin Smith's world. And I'm like, holy crap.
Ming's done a show at Scum and Villainy before. He did.
Cool.
And his buddies did a podcast there.
I would love to do a podcast there. I'm just saying, if you ever have a slot and you need somebody to fill it, call me up. I'll be there and I'll just be like, woo, let's do this. So you mentioned Scum and Villainy, so we might as well kick it off with the fact that you are the owner of the Scum and Villainy Cantina in Hollywood. How the heck did that all come about?
Will of the Force. It's let's see, how much time do we have tonight, and how many people want to hear me talk about it again? The short version is, which again, I've been doing podcasts with Kevin Smith since 2011, so there is no short version of anything I have to say. But the shortish version of the story is that back in 2016 there was a pop-up. It was like the first pop culture pop-up that happened, and it was for Saved by the Bell, and my wife is a huge Saved by the Bell fan, and it was in my hometown of Chicago, so we bought airline tickets. We flew back. We tried to get in on opening night. We were like the 20th people in line. There was a line of like, I mean, no joke, 700 people behind us. And they came out after we waited in line for 3 hours, and they were like, yeah, you're not going to get in tonight. Try to come back tomorrow morning for brunch. It's walk-in only. So we went back, and while we were waiting in line and looking around, I was like, we could do something like this, My wife was like, what would we do? And I was like, well, the best part of like Comic-Con or a Star Wars convention, or really any convention, isn't actually what happens in the convention. It's when you all go to the bar at the hotel after the convention closes, and you share what you saw and what you did with the other people who were there, because most of these things are so big that you only get to experience a fraction of it. So I always found the best part of all the cons was hanging out at the hotel bar after it had ended. That's where I made friends. That's where I like heard about what I should see the next day. And so we created Scum and Villainy to try to make that spot exist all the time as just a place you could go to.
Which I actually went there to do the Evil Ted build for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I heard about this Scum and Villainy pop-up years, when you were starting it, and I was like, God, I've got to get out to one of these things because, man, this sounds seriously cool. And then I heard that you finally got a spot, and I was like, holy crap, now I really got to get over to you to check this out. And it's years later, here I am, finally got to go to it. And I was there for that build, and it was a lot of fun. And holy crap, dude, that bar, if any of you guys out there have never been to Scum and Villainy, you need to get over there. And if you really want to like enjoy the full ambiance, I say go during the week because that's when you can actually look around and it's not completely packed up. And that was something we had talked about with Ted, which was Friday, Saturday, Sundays, great time, always, popping, but the true geeks, the rest of the week.
Yeah, I mean, we're not doing the show on Wednesday because I host trivia. I write and host trivia on Wednesdays at the bar because I want it to be nerdy trivia. I don't want questions about history of world civilization and Bible verses and sports like trivia at Scum Villainy. I want, like
Our trivia,
geeky movie, that type of stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what we do. The the Evil Ted thing has been awesome. It's something that Ted and I have been talking about for years and years and years, and finally we're able to accomplish it. And it's one of those things where we've succeeded in being the after con bar hangout. But we've been around for 7 years and built a really nice community. And one of the things that I want to do is that I find lacking is, I love cosplaying. And I love cosplay, and I got really into 3D printing, which is just one aspect of like the way people make stuff. And so I wanted to do some things that would allow people to come in and learn and meet other people who are interested in what they're interested in, and walk out of the bar 2 hours later with more than just like a buzz, a cosplay helmet or a forearm or something like that. And Evil Ted's been a great partner to work on that stuff with because he is just captivating when it comes to making stuff. We're doing another Evil Ted tomorrow night, actually.
Yeah, that's the female breastplate, right?
Yeah, the female chest armor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, I wanted to go to that, even though, obviously I'm not a female, but I just wanted to go to be there again. But unfortunately, I'll be back at work. So, again, life gets in the way.
Yeah.
But it's really awesome to see what this place has become and the inside is just insane. But aside from the cantina, the stuff that you've done in the past too, because just standing there with you and Ted for a little while, just listening to the stories that you guys were telling, and it was just like, holy crap, these guys have done a lot. You have done podcasting, you've done film, what haven't you done?
I don't know. I joke around, like I wake up every morning. People are like, how do you do it? And I was like, I literally wake up every morning like this. I'll be like this. Oh my gosh, I don't have enough time to get all the stuff done that I want to get done for the rest of my life. And so I wake up that way every morning and just get to work trying to cross stuff off my list that that I want to do before I'm gone. And I have like horrible ADD, but also the ability to like hyper focus. So when I get into something that I'm really into, like I can go. I don't need to eat. I don't need to sleep. I don't need to stop until I've accomplished it. Yep. And it's one of those things where when I was 18 years old, one of my childhood dreams was I just wanted to be known as the Star Wars guy everywhere. Like I just wanted to I knew everything about Star Wars. I wanted to do Star Wars trivia in front of the whole world. And when I turned 18, I bought a ticket to see Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, on Sunday, May 16th. It was released on May 19th, which was a Wednesday. But I got to see it 3 days early. I spent $500 on the movie ticket. And it was all the money went to benefit Rosie O'Donnell's charity. And I approached her in the movie theater and I was like, hey, I've been watching your show and you keep talking about how your limo driver is the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. I was like, there's no way I'm the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. I'd love to challenge him to a Star Wars trivia contest. And that Tuesday afternoon, I was on a flight to New York. And that Wednesday, the day Phantom Menace came out, I was on the Rosie O'Donnell show doing Star Wars trivia against her limo driver. And, it's one of those things where, you read those memes on Instagram where it's like a floral background and white bold text. And it's like, what would you accomplish if you weren't afraid to try or something like that? And from that moment, I've just been able to jump into the deep end of the pool and I haven't been afraid to try things. And I'm not successful at everything I do. But everything I fail at, is something that I can use on the next time. I'm like, when people are like, you're going to open a bar. Have you ever worked in a bar? Do you know what a bar is? Have you ever worked a day in the restaurant industry? And I was like, no, but if you're not afraid, you just go and you do it.
Yep. I know the feeling. I mean, that's how I got into all this stuff, is by just like, I want to do it. Do you know how to do it? Nope. Gonna find out. There's lots of YouTube videos. There's lots of, I dive, and that's my problem too, is I'll start doing something and it's like, I completed it. I'm like, all right, I got to move on to the next thing. What's next? And
you know what's wild? Again, like you mentioned YouTube. Like when I'm 43 years old. So I've been around way longer than the internet's been around. And at least in its current incarnation, like I think YouTube started like years after I graduated college. So like YouTube is so amazing. It's such an amazing place. Like we bought a house a handful of years ago and it had carpeting everywhere and we wanted to put hardwood floors in. And I literally taught myself how to install hardwood floors from watching YouTube videos over and over and over and going on like carpentry message boards. You can learn anything on the internet. You can learn any skill. It's crazy how miraculous it is. And I know like the internet is also the cause of all the world's problems currently, but it's wild because it's also a source of all the solutions if you want to look for them.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest free universities that you'll ever be able to get on, if you really look at it that way, because you've got all the information. You can learn almost anything, take a class on whatever you want. It ain't going to cost you a dime. Well, obviously it's going to cost you because you got to pay for the internet, but it's cheaper than going to college like I did and got my degree and all that other stuff. But thank God for the Army because they pay for all of it. So I'm not worried about it. But the thing is that,
I was just going to say, Distance Nerding Podcasting Comic Cons said that they played the video of me on Rosie O'Donnell on on their Instagram. What's wild? So I posted, this year was the 25th anniversary of when I was on Rosie O'Donnell. So I posted the video on my Instagram, and I like my personal Instagram. Like I don't hashtag. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I just like, it's kind of a thing for me, whatever. And it is at over 100,000 views is that video of me on Rosie O'Donnell from May 1999. And what is wild is the number one comment is, one of the trivia questions I answered is, what happened to Darth Vader that caused him to need a ventilator? And I was like, oh, he fell into a lava pit. But it was 1999. So all of these kids are like, how did he know the answer to that question before Revenge of the Sith came out? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am really that old. Everybody, like, these are kids commenting on my thing that weren't even born in 2005. And they can't fathom a world with like West End game source books and like what was the magazine that everybody went to?
You had
Wasn't Fangoria, but it was by the same guy, Starlog.
Starlog,
Starlog
yes.
magazine, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's just funny. It's cool. It's a good time to be alive.
Well, it's funny that you brought up Starlog, because just last week and I had mentioned to you that we had Kyle Newman and Dan Matson, which we dove a little bit into, like how the internet has basically destroyed all our perception of different like movies and things like that, and how movies aren't what they used to be back in our day, when we were younger, and how great they were, because half those movies that we saw when in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, early 2000s will never be made during this time. And it's
No,
just
but
sad.
I'm gonna play counterpoint to that.
Okay.
And I 100% agree with you, right? Because the majority of especially big budget movies now are made to get the meme, are made to get the opening box office, the spectacle, whatever, right? Like the goal is a very like short-term disposable end, right?
Yeah.
As long as you win the first weekend and maybe the second weekend, we're good. Versus before, people were trying to create a legacy. But like, things turn so fast now that like I mean I understand that. But when we were growing up, the movies that we were watching were it was impossible for somebody like me or you to go out and make one of those movies. Whereas now, with an iPhone and a iMac, you can go out and do that stuff with a skeleton crew for like one millionth of the budget. So it is if you are looking for The Rock or Con Air or what's some crazy movie that like we grew up with,
E.T. The
E.T.
Goonies.
Like you're not gonna find that stuff in your local AMC or Regal Cinema, but you may find it on YouTube. You may find it on Vimeo. You may find it on one of those spots where, like, Gareth Edwards, who directed Rogue One, and is about to do the new Jurassic Park movie. Like, he got his start by doing like this tiny little movie that he did in his office at home. This like post-apocalyptic monster movie, and it was great, and it launched his career. And then he got to do like, I get in trouble here, but the best Star Wars movie since Revenge of the Sith, easily.
You know what? I would agree. I would agree with you on that part. That was one of the best Star Wars films. But I don't know about the Revenge of the Sith part. But that was one of the best films. But I mean, you're right. I mean, we've got like even homeboy that directed District 9.
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp. Yeah,
he
same idea.
Made his short film, put it up on YouTube. It was seen, it was purchased, and they're like, "You're going to direct it. Here's your budget."
Like, I know there's so much noise and money and all of that stuff behind it, but like the cream really will rise to the top. Like if you have something that's truly unique and great and has something to say, even though there's a million videos that get posted to YouTube every minute, somebody will find it. And that might not be the thing that makes you the next Steven Spielberg, but like everything is a step in that direction.
True. Definitely true. And everything. And we're starting to get directors that are younger than what Spielberg, Lucas started out as. We're getting kids that are, I want to say half my age, but they're like half my age and then some, that are putting out these films that look awesome. And I'm jealous.
It's interesting. I talked about going on Rosie O'Donnell and how the only thing I ever wanted to do was be known for Star Wars trivia and be the next Steve Sansweet and be that Star Wars guy. And I I've been doing Star Wars trivia for 40 years, which is insane to think that I could have done anything that long. But what's wild is there are kids who are coming into the bar who can destroy me in it because, like, I have a toddler, I have businesses that I'm trying to run, and these people have made their career creating content around Star Wars. So their whole job is to know the name of Saw Gerrera's sister that is mentioned in two different episodes of the hundreds of episodes of the Clone Wars. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm never going to be able to remember all of these things. But they have all of those things memorized the same way I have like episodes 1 through 6 memorized, It's wild. Like there is kind of a cool like passing of the torch that happens. But then I opened Scum and Villainy, and I think cemented my legacy in that space.
There's nothing that's going to come out after this that's as cool as, well, unless Disney does something, then obviously it's going to be huge. But who cares? You built the first one. You started this, and look at it.
The thing that Disney, and people may argue with me, and that's fine. But the thing I think that Disney has missed completely since taking over Star Wars is Disney thinks, seemingly from the content they're creating, that Star Wars is about lightsabers, or Star Wars is about stormtroopers, or Star Wars is about like those are the things, Jedis, whatever it is, cool characters, Han Solo or Obi-Wan Kenobi, and like that's what drives the fandom. But that's not what drives the fandom. And the only way you know what drives the fandom is if you've been a fan for so long. Like I was a fan when like the Star Wars Bendems were an oasis of water and a desert of merchandise and things of Star Wars. Like that was the only thing there was. And like going through that as a fan who's like linked their identity to that franchise, what I was able to realize that they still haven't, because they're corporate, is that Star Wars is about the fan community more than any of it. The fan community is what drives that. It's not a great movie. It's not a great spin-off series. It's not any of that, So like, that's what I think, is missing from the Star Wars celebrations that are coming out now, or the theme parks, or any of the stuff that's happening, is like none of it is community focused. I think it would have been awesome, like if at Galaxy's Edge there was just a big warehouse where you could go and Disney people in cheap smuggler costumes taught you how to play sabacc with other people who were going there, or a spot where you could sit down and with other like 4 other people and take a Jedi test, right? But you had to like talk to each other to solve the puzzles. Like all of those sorts of things that get you engaged with other people who love this thing the way that you do, and get you talking to those people, and get you opening up about like who your favorite character is, and like, oh my God, do you remember reading The Courtship of Princess Leia by Dave Wolverton in 1994 when like the Night Sisters and the Rancor, can you believe they brought those back and they tied Darth Maul into it? And it's so much of it is, and again, it's part of internet culture, but it's just here's more. You don't like this? Don't worry. You don't like Acolyte? Skeleton Crew's coming out. You don't like Skeleton Crew? Tales from the Empire is coming out. You don't like that? Andor's coming out. Like, it's
force feeding it to us.
They're not, it's so much. And because there's so much of it, you don't have a time to digest what it is before the next thing's getting put in front of your face. And really, like, the success of Scum and Villainy it's just because we said this is a spot for you people to come and talk about the stuff you love. And that's the success more than anything else. Is like, you know, you can walk into Oga's Cantina and they don't actually do this, but they like put a egg timer on the table. They're like, what do you want to order? You have to order 2 drinks at the same time. They bring out your bill before they bring out your drinks. At Scum and Villainy, you can walk in and sit at a table and drink water for 8 hours and just talk to people about the stuff that you love. And that is where we have found success. And it is a place that no big corporation will ever be able to go, because in order to corporatize something, in order to build that thing, you have to, by necessity, to get something that big, you have to lose the humanity of it, right? Like, if you're catering to 100 people at a time, you're able to do something very different than catering to 10,000 people at a time, or 100,000 people, or millions of people a year.
Which it's so true. It's their thing is the numbers game. For you, it's us. It's the fans. It's just getting people together. Because not only do you celebrate Star Wars there, but you also are doing a X-Men 97 viewing there. And you also have Pass, which was awesome.
Can I go off on the X-Men 97 stuff for a minute?
Dude, go for it.
All right, real quick, I'm going to answer. People are blowing up chat. I just want to answer a couple of their questions. James Navarro asked, being so close to the industry, how often do you still get to be a fan? Like, go to Star Wars Celebration or a con? I go to all the Star Wars celebrations. I don't know if I'm going to go to Japan yet. But I will say it's different. I will say it's really different. Having kind of like worked, I shouldn't say I worked for Lucasfilm, but having done projects for Lucasfilm, having gotten very close to a lot of the people who have worked in it and seen kind of behind the curtain, it's harder to enjoy the things, especially because, like, I know enough people that I hear whispers about, like, did you hear that this went down on the set of Kenobi, or did you hear about this thing on Andor and how over budget it is, or whatever? So it isn't the same. I think the thing that I get, again, more excited about with Star Wars is people who are getting access, like being with people who get the access, who get to feel special because of it for the first time, rather than like experiencing it myself. I'm going to go off on a crazy tangent. I'm sorry. I got to go to the premiere of the new Willow series at one of the big movie theaters here. And I was with all of these fans, like we all dressed up in cosplay, and it was awesome. And I was the 4th person in line. I went with my friend Natalie. And when all the actors and celebrities and everybody was coming through, everybody was so very excited. And it was the highlight of their month to do that. And again, like I'm in the industry, like Ron Howard was coming by and everybody was dying for Ron Howard. And I like kind of stepped back and let them do their thing. And I hopefully this doesn't come across sounding like privileged or douchey, but like I stepped back and they were like, oh my gosh, you waited in line for 6 hours to be here. You don't want to like talk to Ron Howard? And I was like, I have Ron Howard on a Zoom call tomorrow. So you guys just have a good time tonight. Right. And I know that sounds like douchey and whatever, but like for me, it is more fun. It's like watching my kid open Christmas presents now is more fun than watching me more fun than me opening Christmas presents. Right. Like I'm jaded. I'm too close to it. Like, I don't get the same excitement from that interaction that like the people I'm with do. But I love seeing passionate people go after the things that they are passionate about. Again, I told you when we were talking about this, I can't shut up. I'm going to tell you guys another story before we get to the is in 2010. In 2010, I was working for a company called Young Hollywood, and they do celebrity interviews and things like that. And we had this little studio space, and Thomas Jane, the Punisher, came in, and he had been working on comic book series. I think it was probably right after he had done Hung on HBO, and the host asked him last question. And Thomas Jane is a very serious guy. Like he's not like screwing around. I wouldn't classify him as jovial. Very serious, and answered each of these like silly celebrity interview questions with a very serious answer. And the last question was, "Hey, we're Young Hollywood. Do you have any advice for the young Hollywood people out there, or young Hollywood, whatever?" And Thomas Jane looked straight. I was shooting the interview, and he looked straight down the barrel of my camera, and he said, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "Keep the dream alive." He goes, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but he said, "If you have a passion always finds a way." Now, passion isn't a hobby. Passion, like something that you are compelled to do from your heart, it always finds a way. And if you have a job that gets in the way of your passion, quit your job and follow your passion. And when he said that, I looked at the other camera guy named Justin Yates, and we made eye contact. The next day, Justin quit working at Young Hollywood. I quit 2 weeks later. Justin and I sat down and wrote a script with another Young Hollywood guy named Steven, and we called it Hughes the Force, and it was a John Hughes teen comedy that crossed over with Star Wars. Meaning, if you know the movie Weird Science, it was two Star Wars nerds use a Hutt Slayer Leia action figure, bring her to life. She teaches them the ways of the Force so they can break into the end of the year party and win the girl of their dreams, right? And so we wrote that, and we wrote a role for Kevin Smith into that movie. And everybody we cast was like, how are you going to get Kevin Smith to do this? Do you know him? And we were like, no, but we're going to find a way. And then, so that was September of 2010. In March of 2011, Kevin Smith sent out a tweet, and it said, "Any young filmmakers in LA who have a Canon 5D camera, hit me up. I need you to film a thing." And so I hit him up on Twitter. This was, again, 2011. So Twitter wasn't what it is now. And I went out and I filmed his podcast that night. And I brought all of the footage home, and I put it all in Avid for him to edit. And I brought it to Jason Mewes and Jordan Monsanto's house the next day. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, you did so much extra work. Thank you so much. Do you want to come back and film Hollywood Babylon tonight?" And so we went and did Hollywood Babylon that Saturday. And then at the end of Hollywood Babylon, they were like, "Hey, do you want to come back and do Get Old again next Friday? Do you want to do Babylon next Saturday?" And that was the beginning of, 13 years of doing podcasts with Kevin Smith and Smodco, and doing a lot of post-production on, I talked about this on the Fat Man Beyond podcast, last week or Monday? Gosh, I don't even know. No, it was last week. And I did like 1.5 visual effects shots on the movie, and my visual effects shot is in the trailer for Kevin's new movie. Like, it's just wild, right? Like, why not?
That's crazy. That's seriously. Sorry, no, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, that was my lead up 20-minute story to talk about X-Men 97.
Well, really quick. So I've listened to all of Kevin Smith's podcasts. Like, that's what kept me going. My first deployment, and then my second deployment, I kept listening while I was out. So yeah, I love all those podcasts, and that's kind of what pushed me to do this, along with Nerd Poker and what's his face? Oh my gosh, I forgot the other podcaster that I was listening to. Anyways, so yeah, that's how I got to this point. But go for your rant on X-Men 97. Let's hear it. What do you got?
X-Men 97. So Kevin Winston of Digital LA and Chris Riley of The Uncanny Experience reached out to me like 2 days before the premiere of X-Men 97. And they're like, hey, do you want to do a screening? We have Lenore Zann, who played Rogue in the original X-Men animated series, and she plays Rogue again in this one. And I was like, sure, let's try it. Right. And it was incredible. Like, Lenore told all these great old stories, and we had like a great group of cosplayers that showed up. Every week we did it. Like, another like 30 people showed up. And these are people who, like, it reminded me of like when I was a Star Wars fan, when like in like 1998, when the lead up to episode 1, like, these are people who are starving for good X-Men stuff. And then like the showrunner started coming in to watch the show with us each week. And so every week for 9 weeks, we built up an audience. And then the X-Men cast and crew rented out the bar on the Wednesday that the final episode aired. And I was like, oh my gosh, we've had so many people come in and built this wonderful community. And again, because it's not Star Wars, right? Like, we're a nerd bar. Like, we're not a Star Wars spot. We are a spot for all nerds. And this was this nerd community that was completely like underserved, that all was like living their best nerd life for the 9 weeks the show was on. So the last week, the bar was rented out on Wednesday, and I was like, I feel so bad. Let's show the episode at midnight on Tuesday, right when it drops. And I was like, maybe the diehard fans will show up for a school night midnight screening on Tuesday. And we had a line of 40 people down the street who couldn't even fit into the bar. We were so busy for that finale episode. So we just like scrunched everybody in like a clown car, so that like 200 people could watch that episode together. And it was like, people were crying. It meant so much to them. And beyond that, like, what a dream come true to watch this wonderful, dramatic story that's so true to what X-Men is at its best, where every 8 minutes across 10 episodes, you had a WTF, I can't believe they're doing this moment, with the guy who wrote it and directed it and put it all together and dreamed all this shit up. It was so special. Like, those will be like 9 or 10 of the days where I will feel like satisfied my purpose on this planet. Providing a space for a community to come together that otherwise didn't have a gathering spot. It was magic. It was magic watching the showrunner react to people watching his stuff for the first time. It was magic watching people shed tears when, spoilers, Gambit died. Like, it was, and scream when Logan's the one who has to take Jean Grey to the hospital, and you know, oh my gosh. And when Rogue kisses Magneto, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. First off,
there were so many moments. And I unfortunately watched them by myself. I was just like, oh, what? No, what? Yeah, and when Gambit died, I was just like, I was at work. I was like, I don't know what to do with myself now. I was like, I don't know if I can go on the rest of the day. But it was awesome. That was an awesome show. Yeah.
Oh, it was so great. I can't wait for season 2. I can't wait for season 2. I am more excited about X-Men season 2 than, I guess Andor season 2 I'm very excited about as well. But like Andor, like, you don't watch Andor and feel good afterwards. Like, you felt good after. Andor is like thick, X-Men is like to be celebrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, oh my gosh, what a wonderful show X-Men 97 was. It was. I'm sorry, I can't stop talking. But like, I went to Galactic Star Cruiser last September.
Which I saw those pictures, and I'm really jealous of the fact that you got to go to that. I was like, holy crap, that's where I want to go.
It was a life-changing experience. It was phenomenal. It was something that will change the way that I approach living my life and raising my daughter every single day until I am gone. However, I was hoping to go on Galactic Star Cruiser and feel inside the way that I did when I was a kid playing with my Star Wars action figures. That was my hope. And it didn't do that. Not for 1 second did it time machine me back to being 9 years old, playing with my old Star Wars toys. X-Men 97 did. X-Men 97 put me at my friend Adam's house watching X-Men on Saturday morning after I had slept over at his house Friday night and played the Decipher Star Wars customizable card game all night, and then got up early to watch X-Men, the animated series, The Tick, Batman, and Spider-Man animated series. Oh my God. That show, it was a time machine, man. It was a time machine. It was so wonderful.
Yeah. But it brought back that feel, even though you can watch it any time of the day, it brought back that Saturday morning feel to you, which it kind of sucks that our kids are not going to be able to experience that moment of, it's Saturday morning. Oh my God, what channel am I going to watch? Because I've got cartoons that are on ABC, that are on NBC, that are on Fox. It's like, okay, I got to time this right to catch them all. And
yeah,
that cartoon, but X-Men 97 brought it back, and you felt like it's completing what I've missed for so long.
It was so wonderful. It was so wonderful.
It was great. So you mentioning other cartoons like The Tick and all that other stuff, and I know you're a huge when I say huge Star Wars fans, you guys, if you guys don't know JC, this guy is beyond huge. He's already mentioned how many years he's been doing trivia and all that other great stuff. But what else are you like geeking out on, like besides Star Wars and X-Men 97?
It's funny. Like, I am a dad now. My daughter is 3.5. And so, like, I don't know, like, here you can see that's my Hall of Justice toy that I got for Christmas in 1984. So that would have been right when I was around my daughter's age. And she comes out, this is my office. And she comes out and she'll grab my Superpowers action figures that I played with when I was a kid, you know, like my Batmobile and stuff. And she loves Spidey and his amazing friend. She loves playing with my superhero toys, which is like a double-edged sword, right? Because now I am playing with the toys I played with when I was 4 with my 3.5-year-old daughter, and I'm getting to like fall in love with those superpower toys all again. I mean, we play with my old Transformers toys, and like the double-edged sword is I'm like, yo, this blaster is from 1987, right? So like she's smashing it and playing rough with it, and it kind of hurts me to watch her do it. But at the same time, I'm like, well, this is a time machine for me. This is special. And like if she breaks it, unlike when we were kids and you had to like try to find it at KB Toys, like I can go on eBay and rebuy this if I really need to. So like my kid's into Transformers. Earlier today we were playing Super Mario Wonder. So it's the first time she's ever played like a real video game today. And she was like learning how to walk and jump on it. So like Mario, Transformers, Spider-Man, superpowers, like all my old stuff that my daughter has fallen in love with, like I've fallen in love with that stuff. I mentioned earlier, like I started playing, and I know this is Star Wars, but I started playing Star Wars Unlimited, the card game, and it makes me yearn for the olden days of the Star Wars Decipher customizable card game. So like I've like found myself going back and pulling out my cards and like trying to brush up on the rules and like, can I find some friends to play this with? What else have I been really into lately?
I remember that game, and I actually was working at a comic shop that was selling that. So I was just buying up cards, buying up the game, wherever I can get it. And I think I had 2 friends that were into it also. So we would play it along with like Magic the Gathering, not so much Pokemon. We just collected the cards, but it was a fun game.
It was amazing game. It was an amazing game. It was like that game reminded me of playing with my action figures, but like setting up rules along with it. And then like, when I'm playing it when I was 16, like it made me feel like a little bit less of a loser than playing with my action figures. But yeah, those are the things I've been really into. I like 3D printing. I'm so into 3D printing. Like I just finished, we had a guy who used to come into the bar all the time that everybody loved named Michael Gill. And he passed away tragically on May the 4th, 2 years ago. So I like had my friend who's a 3D modeler sculpt his face, and I 3D printed him in carbonite and put it all together and hung that up in the bar this week. Like I 3D printed Lion-O's claw shield from from Thundercats that I need to like finish and paint. We just finished and put up again, I'm aging myself badly, but do you remember Mask, the cartoon?
Oh hell yeah, I remember Mask. I love that show.
We just did a Matt Tracker helmet from Mask that's hanging up in the bar. A Master Sword from Zelda. If it's old, if it's like you know the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Belloc is talking to Indiana Jones and he's like, this pocket watch is worthless, but take it, bury it in the sand, and 1,000 years later it's priceless, right? Yep. If you are talking about pop culture that was worthless at the time and has been buried in the sand, I'm just like pulling it up, like Starcom, yeah, Sky Raiders, yeah, Silverhawks. I started rewatching Silverhawks. I printed a Quicksilver helmet from Silverhawks. like, I don't know, just like the dumbest stuff from when we were kids. Although Silverhawks is decent. Silverhawks as a show is decent. Mask, not as much.
Yeah, I
would skip watching that.
Well, I started watching Mask, and I was like, because there's 12 hours at a time when I'm at work, where like especially on a Sunday, there's nobody coming on the base, so I got to do something. I started watching Mask, and I'm like, God, I love the song. That's another thing about the 80s stuff that I miss a lot with cartoons is the theme songs to those things. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
Silverhawks, Thundercat. Oh heck yeah! There's a band called Punk Rock Factory out of the UK, and they do punk versions of all those songs. So they've got a Mask, and it's freaking awesome. Like it's driving even more than what the 80s was. And but yeah, I started watching Mask, and I was just like, T-Bop and Matt's son were just annoying as hell. I can't do this.
Yeah, the show was wonderful when I was 6. Not as much now.
No.
But it's still, the toys were cool, the outfits are cool. You know, it's ripe for a reimagining now.
And I know that they did a couple of they tried to bring back Mask, and it was, what was the comic book company that did that?
DW did Transformers versus Transformers G.I. Joe back in like the early 2000s. So it may have been them. It sounds like either a Dark Horse or IDW title. I don't know.
It was IDW, and it was the Hasbro verse. So not only did it have a Mask, it had, which Nacelle is now putting out, Robo Force, but they had Robo Force thrown in there. They had several other, like Transformers, G.I. Joe. All that stuff was thrown into this comic book. It was really cool. It was a really cool look at how they might be able to reimagine it, but it never took off, which, man, I would love to see a new Mask come out. That would be awesome.
Like, I mean, look, like, it's about a rich billionaire trying to save the planet from venom. Like, it's like primed for it. Primed.
Exactly. So, but yeah, like all those cartoons were awesome. I love, and you mentioned Silverhawks. I actually, one of our like little known sponsors that we have did a Silverhawks t-shirt, which is really cool. Not licensed, but hey, whatever. I'm not going to.
Oh my God. Speaking of, like, have you looked at this stuff Super 7 is doing? Their Silverhawks toys, their Thundercats toys. I almost bought the freaking Cats lair. It's massive. It was so big and expensive, and I was so close. Like, I must have added it to my cart like 6 different times just because it was so cool. But like, all of the figures are like $86 each, and I was like, I'm like a completionist, you know, like I need all of them. Like, if you're looking here, these are all the Transformers Studio 86 series toys, and like I have to get everything from the line. And I was like, oh my God, it'll cost me $10,000 to buy all these Thundercats. So I have elected not to do it.
Well, it's crazy that we're seeing them put out, and they're awesome figures, even more detailed than what we had as kids, and a lot more posable. Like I showed at the beginning of the show, I've got the Savage Crucible figure, which that thing is articulate to the max. Like, this thing can grab hold of his own, like the sword, and hold it like this, hold it over. But these figures, they're not meant for kids. They're meant for us, the collector. But they put them at such ridiculous prices that I'm like you. I've got to have every single one, but it's going to cost me like my rent, my car payment for at least a couple months to be able to buy all those.
Yeah, so, I was like, yeah, no, I'm apologies to Super 7, but I cannot go down that road. I honestly, when I got into 3D printing, I stopped, and I opened Scum and Villainy. I stopped collecting most things. I think I mean, I still buy the Transformers Studio Series 86, but that's really it. I also did, I mean, I couldn't not buy the HasLab Cantina that they just launched. So I'm backing that.
Yeah, that's okay. That one, give a pass.
I did the sail barge also, was the other Star Wars thing I did.
You gonna put that up in the bar?
No, I have it like on the backside of these shelves. The bar, it's interesting, right? Like the bar isn't, the intent of the bar is not, like if you think about a pop culture bar, it's like Planet Hollywood or Hard Rock Cafe, right? Which is, they took stuff from movies and stuff and they display it. But the idea with Scum and Villainy is it's supposed to be as if you are leaving Earth as we know it and going into a place that would exist in like the Oasis from Ready Player One, right? Yeah. So, you know, Jabba the Hutt would never roll into a bar in Nal Hutta and see his sail barge on display, right? So like I've tried to do any props, anything we have in that bar, like we have the stones from the Fifth Element, right? I try to keep everything that's in there as much as possible as something that was in a sci-fi fantasy spot.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed. When I went there, I kind of breezed through, and then I came back out. And I kind of slowly went out because unfortunately I had to get home. I wanted to stay longer, but we're gonna make a trip of it. We're gonna get back over to Hollywood and definitely spend some time over there at Scum and Villainy. But it is cool the way that you have it set up where it doesn't feel, like you mentioned, doesn't feel like a Planet Hollywood or a Hard Rock Cafe, which they were cool. And I used to go there a lot when it first opened up on City Walk, and it was cool to see all the memorabilia. But it feels a lot cooler to go into a place where it's like I've now stepped out off of the street and into a whole new world.
It's, you know, you want to be able to make pretend. And like one of the cool things is, you know, the people who come to Scum and Villainy by and large, like, aren't people who go and hang out at bars usually. So you walk in to a new place, but it's like Luke on Dagobah, right? It's like, yeah, there's something familiar about this place. Oh, I don't know, right? Like you are immediately disarmed there because it feels like a place that you've spent a lot of time, because you are surrounded by familiarity of things that you have known and loved your entire life.
It's true. And I love that. And like, I had hoped to get a feeling like that from Galaxy's Edge, which I kind of did when I first went there, but it was more so when I went to Scum and Villainy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome.
It's community. That's the difference. I mean, look, Galaxy, like anything Disney does will always visually run circles around anything that anybody independent does, anything any major studio does, anything any theme park does. You know, there's some like really cool Harry Potter like places, Stormcrow Manor in Toronto. I'll shout out, but it is like 1 trillionth what Universal's able to put together. But the cool part about Stormcrow is it's down the street from your house and it's full of people like you who want to talk about the things you want to talk about. It's not full of like tourists from Nebraska who are racing to get through the Three Broomsticks because they've got a fast pass for Jurassic World the ride. You know what I mean? Like, that's the
Yeah.
difference, right? That's the thing that none of those, no matter how much millions of dollars in fiberglass and paint that you put into a place, you won't be able to capture that ever. And that's the neat thing about it.
It is. And you're right. The whole, oh, it looks cool. All right, I got to go. With you, it's, this place is awesome. I'm going to get to know some people here because these people are my people.
You know, I know, personally know 20 people who have met and gotten married at Scum Villainy. I mean, I'll tell you another story, because why not? And I think I told this story on some other podcasts. So if you've heard me tell it before, I am sorry. I'm telling it again. But
Sit back and
during
enjoy.
the pandemic, I had somebody reach out to me on Twitter, and I have to go find it. But they reached out and they were like, "Hey, I was on a flight from Connecticut." I'm just going to make this up. I don't know the details, but the gist of the story is right. On a flight from Connecticut to Hawaii, I had a layover in LA overnight, and I had nothing to do. And so I took an Uber to Scum and Villainy one night, and it was empty. And I just sat at the bar, and there was a woman at the bar who sat next to me. I was going to go in for one drink. I ended up hanging out the entire night with her, getting her number, and then going off to Hawaii. And he goes, "It has been 3 years. We're in the middle of the pandemic, and we live together now and are engaged."
That's great.
Right? And that's like one story like that. You know, there's a couple, Ash and Brian, who have a YouTube channel, who are like Disney, Star Wars influencer type people. And they met at Scum and Villainy on May the 4th, 2017. And then May the 4th, 2018, May the 4th, 2018, they got engaged at Scum and Villainy they moved in together that day. And after they signed their paperwork, they came to Scum and Villainy. And then May 19th, they got engaged at the exact same spot that they had met 2 years previous. And then they had a baby last year, and the baby's due date was May the 4th.
Oh, wow.
You know, so like, it's cool. Like, you know, again, like, it's not me, but in that like butterfly effect part of way, like, I help, like, that little kid exists because of me. That guy found the love of his life because like we had Scum and Villainy. Like, to play even like a microscopic role in other people's lives is pretty magical.
That's crazy to hear just how much is tied to the bar. And just, again, but it's because you're cultivating something that is for the community, for us geeks, that for the longest time we didn't have somewhere like this to go to. We had the cons. I mean, when I was younger, I used to go to like the Pasadena con. I was going to like Long Beach. And then, you know, as I got older, kind of lost track of it. But then I started going to WonderCon, all these cons, which is great. And like you said, the fun stuff happens after the con when you meet up at like these venues to eat or whatever it is. But now we have somewhere that we can go all year long and then meet up and make new friends and do some really cool things, which is Scum and Villainy.
Well, and like, look, cons are so expensive now. Like, they jack the price of the ticket up. They jack the price of the hotel up. And then like you wait in line all day to get Katie Sackhoff's autograph. You know what I mean? Like, which is fine and it's great. But like, wouldn't it be nice to go and see people like you for free?
Yeah.
You know, where you don't have to pay for an expensive hotel and you don't have to pay for a badge. Like, that's what we're trying to do. And there's some other places that are doing it really well. Geeky Teasing Games in Burbank does it really well. You know, there's a lot of comic book shops that do it really well. But you know, the atmosphere is different when you're eating and drinking than when you're just participating in games
like a
and
tournament,
purchases.
yeah, different games and stuff, which is true. You know, your place is that laid back area. We can to just relax, hang out. Whereas other places, it's a little harder. I'm there to play a tournament, you know, or something like that, which it's still cool, but you know. And thanks for providing us a home away from home, JC. Big Sky Vike. Just want to tell you that.
Isaac.
Nice.
No, Isaac.
See,
Miss you guys.
look at that.
I'm gonna. I know I've said this a million times before, but I think like I think I am going to become far more active in the content world come this fall. So you guys keep an eye out for that. If you're here watching and you like listening to me blabber nonstop, you have an opportunity. You will have an opportunity to get a lot more of it. And I'm going to bring some friends with me. There's my tease.
Oh, shoot. Now I got to add another podcast to my listening time, which is a good thing that I have 4 hours to drive to work. So I have plenty of time to listen to as many podcasts as I want.
Hey, what? I'm looking behind you.
Yeah.
I see a Boba Fett 300th figure on the top shelf.
Over here?
So what I really want to know is the Slave 1. What version of Slave 1 is that?
That Lego is going to be
Is that the Lego one? Oh, it looks like Hasbro from here.
Oh, no. God, I wish I could have gotten that. No, it's the Lego. I think this was the second incarnation of Slave 1 from Lego.
From Lego? Okay.
Yeah. But I also have I actually have the Cantina bar inside the house. So.
Oh, the Lego version?
Yeah, I have the Lego one, and I have the Razor Crest, the Lego Razor Crest, and a couple other helmets. I just put a few out here. I didn't really put too many, but this is not even this is just a small portion of what I have as far as my collection. I actually dove deeper more into Pops, and this is probably a third of what I own. Because inside,
I'm gonna get lit up for doing this, but because my office is a mess. But I'll show you what I did to the walls here.
Oh shoot! All right, let's see this.
Which way do I gotta go?
So
So it's every Star Wars action figure carded in alphabetical chronological order, starting in this corner and wrapping around the room from 1995 through 2008. That
is insane.
I also have all of the vehicles, that's my nerd, something I've always wanted to do, and I finally was able to do it a couple of years during the pandemic. I was able to put them all up here.
Well, I mean, all of us had a lot of time on our hands, so obviously you had time to start putting them in order and everything. That's crazy. Now, do you have any of the old action or the old vehicles, like from way back when?
I do. I have Millennium Falcon. I have an X-Wing. I have a TIE Fighter. I have a TIE Interceptor. I have way back when, the 80s, right? Not like 95.
No, like the 80s stuff.
ATST. What else do I have? I mean, I have a lot of the figures. I have the Death Star. I have I bought the Death Star at a local toy show in the early 90s. That is not mine as a kid. I have Darth Vader Star Destroyer toy. I think that's all my real old stuff. And then I have 15 new X-Wings, 1995 till 2008. I have every one that came out.
That's cool. Have you ever been to Frankenstein's? Which I know it's a dumb question because a lot of people are like, of course, I live in LA. I've been to Frankenstein's.
No, you know what's funny is I haven't. I've never been down there. I know I've got to go. I've been to like, again, like one of my dreams was to be Steve Sansweet. And when I did the Hughes the Force movie, I had James Arnold Taylor played Obi-Wan Kenobi in it, and James played Obi-Wan through the Clone Wars, and Catherine Tabor, who plays Padme in the Clone Wars, played Padme in my movie. Tom Kane did the voice of a stormtrooper, and so like I got a little bit of attention from that, and so I became friends with Steve Sansweet. And so I started going up to like Rancho Obi-Wan and like hanging out with his collection. So that's like the scratches the itch, you know.
That's just like, seriously, I'm jealous. I am absolutely 100% jealous of everything you've done, because that's just like, yeah, everything you keep mentioning is like, I wish I could be doing that. But
I mean, Rancho Obi-Wan now, he gives tours. Like you can just can buy a tour. Yeah, it's I mean, they're up in Petaluma, like just north of San Francisco by about an hour. It's awesome. Yeah. I highly recommend it. It's worth taking, like booking a tour, driving up, doing the tour, getting a hotel, and driving back. It's awesome.
I'm gonna have to look that up and set that up. So
it's really cool.
If you do get a chance to come over to this side of town, where like this is where I'm at, I get my itch by walking through Frank and Sons and looking at all the old toys that I can't afford because they want like $300 for something that I paid $20. Well, I didn't pay, but my mom paid $20 when I was a kid. But it's still really cool to see all the figures that they have and all the guys that are collected. It's just it's a great place, you know. So yeah, I go there. I was actually just there on Sunday because I have a buddy who now is running a booth in there for Yu-Gi-Oh, which he was trying to explain Yu-Gi-Oh to me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
We did. We once upon a time when I don't know in early 2020, before the pandemic, I think it was February of 2020. We did a official Yu-Gi-Oh event at the bar.
Really?
Video game release. Yeah, I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't understand it, but
it's one of the most flawed like card games that you'll play. I'm like, I get confused. He was trying to explain, but I'll stick with Pokemon. Or if you're looking for somebody to play Star Wars Deciphered, let me know. I'll come in.
Oh my God! Don't threaten me with that offer, because
I am serious. I will do it. I'm looking. I always am up for playing like board games, card games, and all that stuff, but I don't have anybody to play with. Like I have a closet right now that my wife threw all my games in. That they're all just sitting in there, and she's like, "No one's ever going to play with you." I'm like, "Someday." And I keep buying more games. I'm like, I have that one. Oh my God, what was it? Star Wars game that where they had the figures and you had to put them together. Oh my gosh, and I don't have it out here with me. I forgot what it's called, but I think you probably dig it. I gotta remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember what that is.
I think it was Legions.
Oh, Legion. Yeah. I've never played Legion. I've heard it's awesome though.
I yet to play it. Built the figures, yet to play it. And I also have X-Wing.
Distance Nerding asked if I change the theme of the bar now and then. No, we don't really do very many reskins anymore. The last time we did like a really big one, you mentioned it was Lord of the Rings. It was Game of Thrones. We did Game of Thrones in 2019. And we did it for like 26 days. Like the April, like the launch of the last season of Game of Thrones. We did it and it was crazy and it was awesome. But yeah, not so much.
I know you did a cyberpunk theme night.
Yeah, we did a cyberpunk night with the Neotropolis people, which was again one of those nights where like everybody there was in costume and everybody there was just the coolest person and so creative. It's like boundlessly creative. I was so impressed by the Neotropolis people in every way. And it was like a Tuesday night. It was last minute. And we were like, yeah, maybe 30 or 40 people showed up. And like 150 people showed up. It was amazing. I love those people.
Well, I definitely got to keep my eye out for these events, because if I'm around in town and I'm allowed and have, some cash, I'll go down there and check them out. But
Are
you know
you
what?
down by like Fullerton? Where are you at?
I'm actually out in Montclair, so I'm
Oh, yeah. Okay.
off the city.
That's
So I'm
not
not
that
that far. No, it's not that far of a drive for me, but it's just finding that time to go and do it. That's the hardest part. Because if I'm not getting ready for the show, then I've got a bajillion other things I got to try to do. But I'm like you, where I want to get this going. I've got this side business. I've got a sticker business. I've got like all kinds of different things going, all along with being full-time dad, along with being full-time Army. It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I do. Yeah. No, I'm never bored.
Yeah, I'm never bored either. And my wife's like, you got to sit and do nothing one day. And it's like, I can't do it. But you know what, JC, I've kept you on forever and I'd love to keep going, but I want to let you go so you don't get sick of me just yet, because I'll be at the bar soon and be all like, yo, what's up? Let's
Yeah,
play some
sounds
games.
good. Was I okay? Was the podcast interesting? All I did was like open my mouth and words flowed out nonstop for about an hour and 20 minutes.
And everybody's loved it.
Hopefully it was interesting. If not,
it was. I mean,
I'm sorry. I'll do better next time.
JC, if you want, just give me like 5 minutes so I close it out, and then I'll let you go. But thanks for coming onto the show, man. It was seriously, this has been a real pleasure, a real honor. And I know we didn't really dive into like all the other projects that you've worked on, but we're going to save that for another time if you'd like to come back, if that's cool.
Yeah, whenever. I mean, I like doing podcasts because, again, I'm so busy that, like, for example, if I wasn't on this podcast tonight, I would have done one of two things. I would have gone down to the bar to install a new toilet seat and drop off dishes for the kitchen and then come home and gone to bed, or I would have just gone straight to bed. So like it's fun because like I don't do lots of social things in my life. I have lots of obligations that take up my time. But the nice part about like a geek podcast like this is that I can wrap up nerdy hangout time into an obligation where I'm like, hey, everybody, I've got to do a podcast, turning my phone off. And I get to actually like hang out with cool people like that I would normally meet at the bar. So, anyway, it was really fun.
It was. No, thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. I mean, it was, and the guys that you kept seeing that were posting up like crazy, Disinserting and James, those guys are actually a podcast that has helped us get to where we're at right now. And they asked, how'd you get JC? I was like, it was dumb luck. I just showed up to the bar. There he was.
I'll tell you the trick to getting me on a podcast is to relentlessly send me, after I agree to do it, relentlessly send me emails so that I don't forget. I literally, this is so bad to admit, but I put this in my calendar when you emailed me last week, and then I had forgotten about it completely. And then you tagged me yesterday on Instagram and you tagged me today on Instagram. And I was like, 8:00, I got to do a podcast because it just I get too busy, but I like doing stuff like this. And like, I'll do whatever.
Well, but I do remember you saying, hey, you're going to have to email me. And as it was getting closer, I was like, crap, I haven't emailed him. I was like, shoot, all right, I'm going to email him and then I'll tag him and hopefully that'll work. And here you are.
It works. Get me there. Get me that way. I'm not like, I don't want to like big time anybody. Like that's not what it's about. I'm just, again, I have the worst ADD. So like if I see an email and I don't respond to it within like before it goes below the line on the mail app in my phone, once it goes below there, I'm like, it's gone. Like it's out of sight, out of mind. And then like 6 months, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I was supposed to do that guy's podcast. And then I'll send the apology. I'll look up the email, which is unread, and send the apology. And it's so douchey, but like I am chemically in my brain not right. So I do the best I can.
I think that's a lot of us, but that's okay. I think you'll be forgiving. So anybody that's watching, if you guys have reached out to JC, it's not
reach out again, please. I like doing stuff.
All right, JC. So I'm going to take you out, and then I'll be right back with you in about 5 minutes. All right, man?
Sounds good.
Woo! Yay! Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have my applause set up on that, guys. But yeah, that was awesome having JC on, and also getting as much time as I got to sit down and talk to him with you guys. If you haven't, and I should have, God, I'm a bad host. Find him at JC Reifenberg. I hope I said that right. Reifenberg. God, I'm bad at last names, but you can find him on Instagram. You can also obviously find him at Scum Villainy Bar. Check out Instagram for Scum Villainy Cantina. Make sure you add in Cantina at the end of it. Otherwise, I don't know what you're going to find. But Scum Villainy Cantina on Instagram, and you'll see all the pictures and events that are going on there. You can also go and check out the bar itself. Check out their website, which is scumandvillainy.cantina.com, and it has all the events that are coming up. Like we had mentioned, Evil Ted's going to be doing his event tomorrow. If you haven't gotten your tickets, get them, show up, have some fun with both those guys and everything. But it was awesome. And James, thank you so much, as always, for being. I haven't seen you in a long time. And I'm sorry that I've kind of I haven't been dodging you guys, just so you guys know. It's been really busy. It's been crazy. Little Hua up there knows the story. Actually, James, you saw what I posted. Or I text you guys. But anyways, guys, it's been a lot of fun. It's been great having you guys on. And it's later than we normally get done. Actually, no, it's not. It's close to where we normally get done. But it was great having everybody on. Thanks, you guys, to everybody that watched us on Instagram, everybody that's been on YouTube, TikTok, and everywhere else that we're being posted up. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know what else to say. I want to say more because I just love being in front of this camera. Actually, do you guys like this camera? Is this a good camera? Yeah? No? Check out Movo for this camera. And also, what else? Pop Culture Coffee, really quick. That's coming in the mail for me. I can't wait to get my bag. Kyle, Dan, I'm going to try it out on camera. I got the Ecto Espresso, guys. I love me some chocolate and caramel flavored coffee. So I'm looking forward to getting that in the mail. I'm hoping it gets here tomorrow because then I could take it up with me and David could try it too. So you guys be back here on Wednesday. We are actually going to have Ryan and his wife from Golden Apple to come on the show talking about their foundation, talking about the shop, talking about everything, comic books. Really looking forward to that interview. I got to hit them up. Because, got to make sure that it's 100% on it. If not, I'll just walk into a shop and be like, hey, we're ready. Let's do this. But anyways, all right, guys. So come back this Wednesday, 7:30 at our normal time for all our normal stuff. Well, we're not going to do news or anything like that, but for our interview with Ryan. And then next week, after that, we have, really quick so you guys can be ready for this one. Let me get my handy-dandy calendar that I have everything written down, because I was starting to forget who was coming on when. And we have the week after, next week, we have Infinite Abilities. And we'll be talking about their shop, talking about all their cool stuff that they're doing, what they've got planned for the future. And yeah, let's, get to it. Then, I hate to say this, guys, but come July, I don't have anybody. Well, I do possibly have somebody set up for the first Wednesday of July. And then the 16th, then we're taking a bit of hiatus. Myself and David are both having to go to training for the second half of July, so we're going to be gone. You won't hear from us. We won't even be posting stuff on Instagram because I just probably won't be able to do it. I'll probably be out in the field where it's hot and sticky and nasty, and they all like having to use baby wipes to take a bath. It's nasty, guys. Nasty stuff for the Army, but whatever. If you guys want to send baby wipes to the Geek Saga, hit me up and I'll, send you my address. I'm just kidding. No, don't send me baby wipes. I got plenty. But anyways, all right, guys. So again, come back on Wednesday for another great show. And so with that, the saga continues.